Hi, Emmanuel here with T2S, and T2S stands for Transformed to Succeed. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through the steps on how you can provision a relational database service on AWS. Let's go to the console and I'll show you first of all what this means, and then I'm gonna walk you through the steps on how you can deploy one of those services. So let's jump right onto my console here. The first thing that you need to do is make sure that you have an account with AWS. And once you set up an account, then you should be able to do what I'm showing you in this video. Just a piece of cake. Next, you search for RDS. Then when you find it, just click there. What is RDS? When you go to the dashboard here. RDS, it stands for Relational Database Services, and it's a service actually that has a different number of features. It can allow you to integrate whatever database you're using on your prem systems, and which could be Aurora, it could be MongoDB, it could be MySQL, and the list goes on. As you can see, once you get to the dashboard here, you have the possibility of migrating your MySQL or any kind of relational database that you may have. So you migrate that to your AWS account and then begin to work on that based on what you want. So let's if you look at here, for instance, here we have, the beauty of AWS and so many other cloud computing platforms. They give you enough information and documentation that you can leverage on to do whatever you want to do. And for this specific video, we're just here to create a MySQL database. So you go here, find the create data here, and click on create database. So I'm gonna click there. Then the rest, you just follow the steps. Step number one, you have to decide on what kind of data, how do you want to create this? Do you want to use the standard create or easy create? We're going to stick with the standard create, meaning that you have the option to set all of the configuration settings or options, meaning availability, security, backups, and maintenance. So you have the freedom to do that. And next you have to decide on what kind of engine that you want to use. AWS offers a variety of engines here. You have engine types. You have Aurora, the two kinds here. MySQL, it's MySQL compatible, and PostgreSQL compatible, meaning that if you have a Postgre database service on your on your local or physical servers, and you want to send that to migrate that to AWS, you can use Aurora, and that should work. Then you have MariaDB, you have Oracle, you have PostgreSQL, you have IBM DB2 and Microsoft SQL Server. But we're gonna stick with MySQL here. Select that one then, and next what you do here, you select the engine version. There are many versions here. You can, and we're gonna just go with the default one here. So just keep that one there. You also have templates that you can take advantage of. You have production template, you have dev and test template, then you have free tier. We're gonna go with free tier. And remember, free tier, it's when you're trying something new, you wanna test something, or you wanna gain hands-on experience with Amazon RDS, then go for the free tier. Option there. Availability and durability only applies for the other two here. You see, if you click on dev, then you have the ability to select a multi-AZ, meaning multi-availability zone, which is very helpful in times of disaster recovery. Let's say you want to recover from as a result of a disaster. So you can use the multi-AZ here. The next thing that you want to do is to give a name here. You can say database, T2S database there, and just leave it as it is, T2S dash database. Now, when it comes to the credentials, you can, depending on the requirements, of your project, in my case, I'm gonna just leave admin, but you change it according to what your manager or what is necessary depending on your projects that you're working on. Admin, if you say managed in AWS Secret Manager, which is most secure, then you don't have control over passwords and stuff like that. But in our case, I'm gonna use self-manage because we want to set a password, we as humans, so we want to do it. And I'm gonna create a password here, there, and make sure that the password match. So they should match. Instance configuration, we're gonna you can choose whatever you want here, and again depending on your requirements. In our case, we'll just go with the dbc6 gd.medium. So choose that. So we're gonna leave that there. Storage, when it comes to storage, just leave it the way it is here as default. Now, coming down here to connectivity, this is very important. Don't connect to an EC2 compute resource. That's what we want to do. And what that means is that you don't have to set up any connection to a compute resource like an EC2 instance. Meaning that that's another layer of something that you have to take care of. And so we don't want to do that. We don't want to use use this option here, but we're gonna do this one here because we don't want to connect and add another layer of infrastructure to what we want here. And now here you want to select the VPC where you want to deploy this database. We're gonna just go with the default. As of the subnet group, you also have to make the choice here. We'll go with the default. And now here, make sure you select public access because we want to access this. And then when you do that, you come down to your security groups. And when it comes to security group, make sure that your security group has a rule to allow traffic through port 30, I believe 33. Let me check here. It should be through port 3306. That's for MySQL. Because if you don't have that rule for the inbound rule added to your security group, then you cannot connect, meaning that the traffic coming in through that port will be blocked. But we have to open that port, which we'll do in a moment. Otherwise, you can create your own VPC here. And when you create your own VPC, we're gonna allow that port to be open. But let's use the default here for now, and everything stays the same. Monitoring, you have the option to decide the logs retention using CloudWatch. You can decide, okay, we want to retain the logs for only once every 7 days, something like that. You have the KMS key here. That's a key management service, key management service. You have this here. And everything looks okay. But remember, the estimated monthly cost here, based on the DB instance we chose, it's pretty much that, and the storage is this one. So this is the estimated budget for the month. So it's not a cheap service that you want to use now. So every time you change storage here, you can change storage. It's gonna change also the estimated budget. So like if you go here, you can change whatever you want to use. Like here, we're using compute optimized. See here, the instance configuration. But if you use the standard, you're gonna see the prices at the bottom here, they're gonna change. They go higher. So depending on what you use here, make sure that you choose the correct size, depending on the budget of the company. So you can do here and then decide, okay, what do I need? Every time you go for a large resource, that comes with a price. It also affects your prices. We're gonna go to the C here at the bottom here. So you have the medium, and it's kind of like what we had before. If you go down to the price, that's about what we want for now. And make sure that you do the cleanup. You clean up your resources at the end. Resources that you do not use, just delete them. And if we look at everything and we are satisfied with everything, then we go down here to create database. And creating a database, it's gonna take some time. And then for that, what I'm gonna do, if you go database here, so it's gonna create our database here, and then it's a little bit pricey because I think I selected the 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐬, I think. So that's why it's creating backups in these different availability zones, and that's okay. But what matters is we want to get to here to be able to access our systems, our database here. So you have the writer and the reader. the writer, that's kind of like the primary database, and you can access that. But when you look at this, the two endpoints here, so they are pretty, they're not similar, but here you have this being added, these two characters added, and this is the reader. You can only read, and you can give this to your to anybody that needs to read the content of the data that you have on this database. So as I said, it's gonna take some time. I'll pause the video and then come back when it's ready to go. Okay, looks like the database is available now. As you can see it here, it's available. That we can, meaning that we can access our database. And one thing that I want to mention to you is that you can view your connection here. If you click view connections, you're gonna get everything here. And of course, make sure that you protect the password here, but remember, this is just a demo. You make sure you copy this information, save it someplace safe, and then after you do that, close it. And we now have if you go back to the connections here, so we have the endpoint here. I'm gonna copy the endpoint. I'll take you to the command line to show you how you can access your database and manage or administer your database. So let's go to the command line quick here. Remember, for you to do that, I'm gonna delete this here. For you to be able to do this, first of all, you have to make sure that MySQL application is installed on your system. You're gonna make sure that it is installed. I think that's what you need here. And then I always say that also make sure that your AWS console and your local machine, they've been set up the right way. So you have to do the AWS configure, make sure, or you can just export your keys into your local environment to do that. So you can check if this is installed, and you see it is installed. And once it's installed, what you do, you're gonna need to use MySQL. You're gonna need to use MySQL, and so you technically use this command here. I'm gonna type it in here. You're gonna need to use this command, MySQL. Then you do that, and then here, this is where you enter your. This is where you're gonna enter your endpoint. Remember the endpoint that you copied from here. This is what you need. You're gonna need this. After you enter your endpoint, then you need to enter the port, which is gonna be, you use actually the dash uppercase P to say that you have the 3306 port open, and this is the port that you use to connect to your database. Then you have the username. The username, we decided to stick with admin. Yeah, that's what we decided to stick with. Then when you do the dash P, it's gonna prompt you to enter your password. Let's go back to the console first. Remember, I mentioned at the beginning of this demo that you're gonna need to make sure that port 3306 is open to allow traffic in, and we need to get to that point there. Let me see here. You're gonna need to go to connectivity, and we need to find the security group that we attached here. Let me see. Let me go here, modify the all right. So if, let's say you click on the first instance here. So if you click there, you go to connectivity and security, you find the security group here. It's going to be the same for the other instances. See here, it's the same. And click on VPC default security group here. What we want to do is to check if the rule to allow traffic into our database through port 3306 has been attached to the security group. And here you see I did it already from my previous project or something. I was playing with this before. All right. Otherwise, if you don't have it, you just click in Edit Inbound Rule, and then you can add the rule here. So let's say we didn't have that, so we're gonna add it. You can look for SQL here, and this is what we want. MySQL, Aurora. They have the same port number, and then you have to specify the CIDR block, which dictates the number of systems that can send traffic to this database. And in our case, I'm gonna use this one here because again, this is just playing with this service. And then I'll click Save Rule. Save rules, and that's done. Once you're done with this, then you go back to your command line, which allow, by doing what I just showed you, it's to show to show that you can use this port OK to send traffic from your local machine to the database. And then when you press enter here, it's gonna ask you for the password. So make sure that you do it right. So you see, now we are connected. Just looking at this, welcome to the MySQL monitor. We are connected. And now that we are connected, you have the ability to manipulate your database. I'm gonna clear my screen here. No, I don't think you can do that here. Maybe it's this one. No, sorry guys. I'm gonna just quit for a moment here. All right. So we are back to our prompt. Your prompt should always say MySQL, depending on the engine type that you're using. All right. So let's create a new database. And to create a new database, you're gonna enter this command here, create database, and then we can name it T2S database 4, for instance. So you press enter, and then you're gonna need to create a user. Okay, something is wrong here. I think I messed up here. I'm gonna quit. if I can. It doesn't allow me to do that. Okay, that's done. So I quit. I need to recall that command here. So you need to put a semicolon here, and it's gonna allow you to go to the next step. But I'm getting this error here. Error, you have an error in your SQL. Check the manual that corresponds to MySQL server version for the right syntax. And it's complaining about this one here, but I can change it. I just remove the dash. Let's see. And you see now it's working. Query one row affected. I'm gonna create a user. And to create a user, you just use this command. Then you're gonna say new user as an example. And then you're gonna add this one here, or just create just new user. Let's say new user, then semicolon. Okay, and the new user has been created. Now, let's say I want to show the databases that I have. So this is what you use here. Show databases, and then remember always the semicolon at the end. Then it's gonna give us what we have done here in this specific database. So this is the schema, and then this is the name of the database. This is just to show you, you can Google to find more commands that you can use. And if you want to stop this, you just say quit. And then you see it said goodbye. It said goodbye to say it's done, right? So I'll clear my screen here. Then we are set. This is pretty much it when it comes to how you can set up and deploy and provision a database. In our case, we're using the engine type we're using, it's MySQL. And before you end everything, make sure that you do some cleanup. So you go back to RDS, find your databases that you do not need. You select this one here. If you select this one, which is going to reflect the parent, then you have the other three here. So I'm gonna go to Actions, click on Delete. Follow the prompt here. It wants you to type delete me. Well, I'm gonna put it there, and then I'm gonna delete the cluster, because that's the entire cluster, including the different. And when you talk about a cluster, you're talking like about the master control. Then you have the nodes, like child instances and stuff. So I'm gonna click delete DB cluster, click there. And you're gonna have to check on the updates. For now, if you look at the top here, it's saying the T2S database cluster is being deleted, and already you can see the progress here. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video. God bless you.